Hello, all. You're now listening to the Lorenzo Late Night Podcast. I am your host tonight, Lorenzo Late Night, and I have a very special guest in the house tonight, y'all. Guest, can you state your name and let them know who you are and exactly what it is that you do?
My name is Angela S. Walker, and I am a design and relationship coach, and I'm also the author of How to Resolve Any Relationship Issue, and I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. We are glad we have you here. And you know what? I just want to add and say, I noticed you've been doing a lot of interviews, and I've had my eye on you. I finally got my hands on you, and I got a question gun loaded. I'm going to start shooting in a minute. But now, before I do that, let me just start with something real short and sweet. When did you first realize you wanted to be a writer?
You know what? That's very funny that you asked me that. I actually never used to like to read, believe it or not. I would walk past my daughter because she absolutely loved to read. And I would think she was weird just sitting there on the sofa reading. And, you know, one day I actually heard about a book by Napoleon Hill.
Oh.
And it is Think and Grow Rich.
Wow. Another great author.
Yes, and it actually caught my attention. And it was funny, I went to the library to get the book, and they only had it on audio.
Are you serious?
Yes, so I checked it out, put it in my car,
Right.
And I began to listen to it. That sparked my love for books because it opened the world up. I always thought it was just grabbing a physical book. When I realized that you can literally listen to a book on audio, it changed the way I view books, and that is how my desire started.
That is a great story, and you know what? That did change a lot as far as the way people read books nowadays. Social media is doing it. You know, electronics and technology is just taking over the world right now. So you know what? I'm just going to go on to the next question. Now, where do you get your information and ideas for your books, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind you asking at all. This book is my first book that I've written, and the inspiration came from in my personal life, ruined so many of my relationships, whether they were intimate relationships, friendships, family relationships, business relationships. And when I had to take a look back and say, what am I doing wrong? And it caused me to do a deep dive into my own self, find out the errors I was making. When I discovered those errors, I actually wanted to put it in a book, and I wanted to help other people not make those same mistakes.
That is so great. I just want to say ouch, because I can imagine that feeling, going through those relationship problems and the experience it within itself.
Yes.
I just want to congratulate you and thank you for it, because I mean, you're putting yourself out here to help other people's relationship, and I think that's golden in my eyes.
Yes, thank
and
you
I just
so
want
much.
you to know that. Thanks for coming on the show. Now, I have another question that I know a lot of listeners want to know. Now, what do you like to do in your spare time when you're not writing or coaching someone?
I'm so happy you asked. You know, believe it or not, when you're writing books, at least for me, you go into pretty much a solitude place. You know, you
Wow.
get into a very quiet place and you're writing your book. When I'm coaching individuals, that's pretty much a very serious thing that I'm doing. So what I like to do the opposite of that. I love listening to comedy. I love comedy shows. I love things that make me laugh because it takes me out of that writer's world and out of that seriousness of a relationship.
So you have a secret formula is what I'm hearing.
Yes, I do.
And that is a good thing. Let me
Laughter.
tell you. Well, I can tell you this. Apparently it's working, because I'm looking at this book right now, and just so you guys know, I picked up a copy of the book, and it is great, and it made me check myself on a personal level with my relationships. I've also gone to, you know what? I understand you have a workshop, and I've gone to that workshop, and I'm
Yes.
telling you, when I left, it made me check myself on a personal level. Now, can you just tell our listeners, how would they go about going to this workshop or either getting a ticket to it?
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for supporting me at a workshop.
Absolutely.
You know, ever since this COVID-19 has come here and affected so many of us, I was doing workshops, you know, in person. Now I actually had to move to the virtual space.
Wow.
And now I'm conducting workshops on a virtual level now. And I have all my information on my Instagram account, in my bio, if anyone want to check that out. Anything that I have upcoming would always be there.
I see you're still hustling, huh?
Yes.
That's what that tells me. That's great. Now, I have to ask you this. Since you brought up the pandemic, how has the pandemic had an effect on how you hold workshops?
Wow, we're all used to doing the workshops where we meet at a public place and we see people face to face, and we're doing all type of handouts, materials.
Right.
Now it has caused me to shift my business more into that virtual space where I'm doing workshops online. What I love about it is it causes me to reach more people, different nations, different countries. So it actually expanded my reach, actually, and I love it.
Wow, that's great. So now, hey, she's nationwide. So now there's no excuse not to fix your relationship. You can find her anywhere. She's global now, guys. She's really trying to help you get your thing together.
Yes.
So now I want to ask you this. Now, with that being said, now what's the biggest problem you think we have with communication?
The biggest problem that we have with communication is effectively communicating. We're all talking and we're all communicating, but are we effectively communicating?
That's
This
so
is what
true.
I'm seeing a lot of us not really making our point clear, not giving the other person space to express themselves, and we're ruining our relationships in that manner. So once we learn how to effectively communicate, and I put that in the book, I don't just tell you the problem. I give you solutions. When you read that book, you will see how you can effectively communicate and help salvage those relationships.
And that's so true, because that hit home with me when I picked up that book and I went to that workshop. I'm telling you guys, you got to get to the workshop. Now, I'll see if I can squeeze the limit on her a little bit and get some information for you guys to get tickets or get information to that next workshop, okay? Y'all give me a minute. I'm going to squeeze it for you. But now, I want to ask you this, Annie, a very important question, because sometimes what people do doesn't always work out with their family. So now, what does your family think of you writing?
My family is extremely proud of me. My family sees that potential that I've always had, and they're very proud. It actually took me 3 months to write this book. The book was going to be a Facebook Live that I was going to do, and
Wow.
I just was prompt to no, put that in a book. And when I discussed that with my family, they were extremely proud, and they still are proud. They walk around with copies of my books on hand.
I know I would be, and I have my copy right here. So now, I'm not going to take up too much of your time or the listeners' time, but I do want you to leave them some information to get in touch with you, how they can purchase your book online and come to that workshop. I got to get it out of her for you guys.
Thank you so much. They can purchase my book at Amazon. On Amazon, it is in an ebook form as well as a paperback book, and it is easier to reach me on social media. My Facebook name is @YourCoachAngela, and my Instagram name is angela.s.walker. And if they go to the bio, they can click there and find all my services and information.
All right. And another thing I want to add on to what she just said, if you haven't gone to her Instagram page, you got to go there. The captions are phenomenal. I'm telling you, they really hit home. If you're having problems, man, you really need to get in touch with her. I'm telling you, you're missing out on something big, guys. So now, before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to say personally to all the listeners out there?
Yes, I would. I would say never give up on love. You deserve love. And the only thing you need to settle for is less dessert.
That's right. You heard it first right here on the Lorenzo Late Night Podcast. Thank you, and thanks for listening.